In a business environment that's increasingly focused on sustainability, incorporating ESG into your strategy is critical for developing long-term value. This is Real World Strategy Asia-Pacific, actionable insights for the new now. We're joined now by EY Asia-Pacific Strategy Execution Leader Nobuko Kobayashi and Grant Mitchell, EY Asia-Pacific Strategy and Transaction Sustainability Leader. A warm welcome to you both.
Hi Sharanjit, it's nice to be here and it's great to be talking to you about this topic.
Happy to be here, Sharanjit.
First off, Grant, why should a company strategy address long-term sustainability? And what does incorporating ESG actually mean for a company?
The move to a more sustainable global economy is going to have profound impacts either through regulation or through economic shocks or by creating new ways of driving business value for shareholders and customers. And so strategies need to prepare companies for those things. One of the ways of doing it, as an example, is if you're able to detect investor preferences or customer preferences for more sustainable ways of doing business, and you're able to respond to that quicker than others, that's a great source of competitive advantage.
And Nobuko, are investors in the Asia-Pacific region even being influenced by ESG? And what steps can Asia-Pacific CEOs or those with operations in this region take to engage investors and other stakeholders in driving sustainability?
You're absolutely right. I think APAC-based companies are under stricter scrutiny, broadly speaking, from the investors around ESG. But that said, the levers that you can pull to balance the ESG concern with a financial return varies in terms of the time horizon. You have to have a transition plan from short-term to long-term to be greener in the end.
Grant, how are ESG ratings helping to drive long-term value? And to what extent is corporate strategy still primarily driven by a company's bottom line?
I think you've got a more chance of coming up with meaningful sustainability actions by forming a direct connection or looking at direct data rather than waiting for preferences to be reflected in ESG ratings. Sustainability actions will almost by definition take place over an extended period of time. And we know from surveying CEOs, if you don't have strong financial performance, you won't get the investor license to deploy capital and to deploy human capital in long-term sustainability strategies.
To what extent is ESG adoption in Asia-Pacific being driven by governments and regulatory pressures? And how does it impact companies, both global and regional ones, given that regulatory frameworks in the region are often quite fragmented?
The fact that it remains fragmented adds complexity especially to the multinational companies' operation. Moreover, we sense a growing concern amongst the business community that a lot of the sustainability-related regulations are very EU-driven that may ultimately benefit more the EU-originated companies. For this reason, it may make sense for APAC companies to, let's say within a specific industry, to band more together and weigh in, exert more influence in the global rulemaking of ESG regulations.
Moving now to data and technology, Grant, what role do you think Asia-Pacific can play in driving the clean tech agenda?
I mean, there's some really important Asia-Pacific sustainability issues that might deserve more attention from the technology sphere. One of those is energy transition and renewable energy. But the other one is things like water management and perhaps even sort of climate change mitigation, where there's a lot of geographies in Asia that are particularly exposed to some of the physical risks of climate change.
And finally, Nobuko, what's the one biggest action you would advise CEOs to take to build a business that integrates ESG and is sustainable for the future?
The sustainability should be your long-term vision, and that should be the North Star to guide your decisions on the way. Then monitor the progress through KPIs and be quantitative about it. Hold yourselves accountable. This is a journey to transition to a greener state. Therefore, the interim goals must be set and met. that is only possible by setting up a proper governance.
Grant and Nabuko, thank you so much for joining us. It was great to get your perspectives and insights.
Thank you. It's been our pleasure.
Thanks, Sharon Jeet. It was lovely to be here.
And I'll see you soon on Real World Strategy Asia Pacific.